Thank y'all again for being here. This week is every week. I'd also like to thank Josh Taylor and the Black and Brew for sponsoring the luncheon today. It was awesome. I appreciate it. Kimler, nice job. Great job on that. Food's outstanding. Recapping the game from Saturday night against UCA, I think we played a really good football team. I think we did play hard. I think our guys prepared well for the game. We just didn't execute like we wanted to. It came down to 3 turnovers, the explosive plays that they were able to get and we didn't get, and the penalty situation that we're working hard to correct. But those are issues that fall onto me as a head coach. So I've got to be able to answer those questions and take care of those situations with each of our players in all these situations. So we're gonna have to take care of that. We had an opportunity after the Lightning delay to go defensively stop them, which we did on the one, which was I was really excited about, being able to come back and being prepared and being ready to play again, and then going 99 and scoring. We had an opportunity on the onside kick, got it at 9.5 yards. Got to go 10, so we wasn't able to capitalize on that. And then we've got another chance to get the ball back by stopping them on using our timeouts at the end of the game and forcing them to punt, which we didn't do that. We didn't get a stop. So the game did go down to the end. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that, but you look at the way our guys competed all the way through. For that, you can, or I can as a head coach, be excited about and proud of. At the same time, some of the mistakes that we made those are correctable mistakes that we got to make sure we take care of. I think as we move forward to Lamar, we go on the road this week. Let me back up a little bit. First, I want to congratulate Andrew Bishak and our home game crowd, the people that handle everything from the home game standpoint. Fantastic, our crowd, fantastic crowd out here. The atmosphere was really good. We could feel it. We definitely had a home field advantage. I wish we could have turned the scoreboard on and flipped the scores, but we definitely, our crowd gave us a home field advantage. It was packed on this side, the home side, and the other side was just about the same. All the tents, all the suites. A great crowd, great energy. The lion walk at the beginning of the game was awesome, and for that I can appreciate again. Congrats to Andrew. I know he heads up this stuff. It's a lot of work. I saw Mary Hannah Prevost and Jillian and her staff doing up all kind of stuff early in the morning when we came over here for breakfast and seeing campus and seeing how much energy was on here. It was good. I want to thank the student body also for doing what they did and them being out and support and vocal and loud. And our guys heard them, man. They made an impact. So I appreciate that. Moving on, though, to Lamar. This is a team that's kind of started off, won their first game 70-0, lost the next week against a really good Texas Tech team 77-0. Now they played Northwestern this past week and they had a heartbreaker, getting an extra point blocked at the end, 49-48. It's obvious when you score that many points that they got an opportunity offensively. They got some dynamic players. They got a slot receiver who's really good with the ball in his hands, and they get the ball to him. I think their quarterback does a nice job. He's an accurate thrower, moves around well. He's also athletic. You'll see a lot of mixture of them from an option standpoint offensively, and then also throwing the football around, taking shots down the field. They're not so much a horizontal pass game. They're more of a vertical pass game. So you'll see more shots being taken. That's what they like to do, and they got some guys that can go get it. Defensively, they're an even front team, a 4-2-5 for the most part, similar to Monroe, but you'll see a lot more pressures. They come from every angle, inside, outside, secondary stuff, linebacker blitzes, a lot of movement up front with the defensive line. So they're going to present quite a challenge for us this week, getting prepared for them. We've seen some of it. We just hadn't seen as much of it in one game, getting prepared for it in the same week. So that'll be a challenge for our offensive line to be able to handle those things. With that, I'll be able to take some questions and answer whatever you need to.
Frank, would you talk about Kyle Strickland and what his status is and how he came through?
Yeah, Kyle got hurt after we got back from the Lightning delay down here in the red zone. Fell over backwards, and then a defender from the other side came on top of him. Basically, a stinger is what he got, but it was precautionary to be able to take him off. We just want to make sure that the safety of the player is utmost. So we went to the hospital that night, and we spent some time together, and he was feeling a lot better. Kept him in overnight, and then the next morning we released him. He was released, and he felt better. He was at practice yesterday. Didn't go through practice, but was there in our meetings and at practice. So he's doing well. His status will be determined as the week goes forward as to how he's doing. He'll be a game-time decision as far as him playing at Lamar or not.
What about Nunez?
Same thing with him. So he was out for the whole second half. He got cut catching a pass. He got chopped on that one, and so he'll be a game time decision depending on how the week goes in practice for him. He had some soreness yesterday. Came in this morning, got some treatment. It's a little bit better, so we'll see how that goes during the course of the week.
Is it knee?
It's his knee, yes. Yeah.
Coach, you mentioned how well prepared y'all were coming out of the delay. What was said? What was the process during that delay, especially when you didn't know if it was going to be anywhere from 30 to as long as it went? How did you keep the guys ready throughout that?
Yeah, I think anytime you take a new position with me as a head coach and spot, I reached out to a lot of people in the profession and people who have experienced this in all kind of different situations. And one of the things that I talked about was a lightning delay. I've never experienced it. And one of the things that they always spoke about, and a lot of them have made mistakes and wish they could do it again, was spend a lot of time with your players. So each position coach during that entire time was with their position group. And they spent time with them, not only talking about football, but talking about other things, their approach mentally when we come back out and what to do. We got our guys stretched in the locker room prior to that so that we felt like we were going to be ready. We had 3 minutes. Once you leave the locker room, the game starts in 3 minutes. So we did all of our stretching and things like that. Coach Bassetti, our strength coach, got them all loosened up prior to coming out. Then we came out. It was just a matter of running and getting kind of loose again, getting a little lather going. And so we were able at that time to jump out and play. But I think the approach mentally in the locker room with our coaches, staying with our players the entire time was something that, gathering from other people who have experienced it was really important to them. And I think it showed up for us. So I thought it was a good, being able to do that was pretty good.
Getting back to the injury situation, how's Matt?
Yeah, Matt will be out for the season. I say that. He's got an MRI this morning. Feel like that's the diagnosis was an ACL tear. So it'll probably require surgery, and if that's the case, he'll be out for the season until we get the exact diagnosis and the scheduled date. That's kind of what we're planning for going forward.
Coach, Lamar's defense is really good at stopping the run, but they're struggling passing defense. Is that just skewed because of the schedule with the lopsided scores, or is that are they really good up in front? Or?
No, they're good up front, and they bring a lot of pressures. So when they bring a lot of pressures, the coverages sometimes they might end up in zero coverage, so they got some matchups. Well, against Texas Tech, it hurt them a little bit. They got overmatched personnel-wise, where a guy would catch a pass and break one tackle, and now he's gone for 60. It happened against Northwestern the other night. Guy caught a curl route, made a move in the open field, and the guy missed him, and he was able to take it the distance. So it's a feast or famine type deal. They made some plays, though. They got to the quarterback. They got some hits on him. So there's some things there. A lot of times those pressures are run game pressures that you think you're dialing them up to stop the run, and the offense has a pass called at that time or an RPO. So they're able to take advantage of that. You look at it for what it is. We spend more time scheming personnel than the actual calls itself, but we got to take it into account when we start preparing for them.
Coach, this has been like the year of the targeting for 3 weeks for us.
Well, for me it is. Yeah, I'm still struggling with the targeting call. I know what they tell me. I think I know what it looks like sometimes, but I'm not exactly sure all the time. I see it and it doesn't get called, or I don't see it and it does get called. We get whatever the rules are, however they call it. It impacts our team in a big way. It's a 15-yard penalty, but we also lose a good player on the field. And we got to do a better job of coaching and teaching our guys to be more aware of striking with the top of our helmets, of launching. Those are the things that they kind of zero in on more than anything else. The one we had the other night was not called on the field. It was called through replay. So, somebody saw it somewhere. We just didn't see it on the field that night, and then we got it called.
When you lose to Marcus and Matt Wright in the first half, do you think that has anything to do with some of the explosives?
Well, I think you do, Alan. But those could happen. One's a targeting penalty, the other's an injury. Those could happen at any time. Other guys got to step up and play. I mean, you put your best players on the field, and those are our two top tacklers. So they're two of our best players. So does it impact us? I guess, but you can't use any. Somebody else has got to step in and go make some plays. So we had some guys that stepped in and did really a good job, and then on some plays they didn't. So we gotta make that better. If we don't get Matt back this year, somebody's got to come in and play for him the rest of the year. So we got to use that as motivation as the next man up. Somebody's got to be the next man up and has got to prepare that way like he's a starter. He's one play away from being a starter for us.
You had to be happy with your punter. He
Did a great job, didn't he? He flipped the field for us multiple occasions, pinned him down. Even more than that, now we did you got to give credit to Coach Jenkins. Our punt coverage team did a fantastic job getting down the field. The punts were there. It starts with that, but our coverage team did a great job of getting down there, kind of spooking the returner from trying to pick them up. Normally some of those he would pick up, and they were there, so he left them alone. We ended up getting a little more rolling, probably we should have, but they were there the entire time and able to down it inside the 5 twice. And, so that's a huge momentum change for us anytime you can flip the field like that through the punt game, because we got stopped on offense, so now we got to punt it and give it back to them. Well, it puts them in a hole to start off from there, so it was really good.
You touched on this in your opening remarks, but the penalty situation, 16 for 140, that's,
Yeah, unacceptable. Unacceptable, right? You can't do that. So, we spend a lot of time on those things, and we make our guys aware of it. We point it out in meetings. We practice not doing those things. We practice doing the right things. And why sometimes it happens in a game, maybe it's an emotional type deal, maybe it's lack of control, things like that. We got to do a better job of doing that. We got to be able to make sure that those guys, they're either not on the field, they don't need to be playing if they're going to cost us, or they do a better job preparing and making sure we do the right thing while we're on the field. So the officials call what they see. We got to live it with how they call it. We got to do a better job to make sure it doesn't happen. UCA got 4 penalties the other day. Well, we need to be in that range. We need to be around 4 penalties a game. I can live with that. 16 you can't live with as a coach.
Frank, even though you've given up 30 points a game, you've got a first-year defensive coordinator with a new defense. Do you like what's happening with the way it's coming together and things that y'all are doing and what they're learning?
Yeah, dude. What you like is the effort that our guys are putting forth. I like the way our guys are playing. You watched every snap of that game. You saw 11 guys running to the football. You see our guys playing aggressive. Our guys just got to play smarter. I spoke about this in preseason. We have an older football team on defense, but we don't have an experienced football team on defense. We got guys who haven't played a lot of football. And when that happens, when those things take place, situationally, those guys aren't used to that. So it's something new for them. So what they've got to be able to do, and we do it, we create those situations each week in practice, each day. Put them in those situations, whether it be third downs, red zone, blitz type situations, 4th down, 2-minute. All of those things, we put our guys in those situations each week and try to manipulate them so that they gain experience by playing it in practice that we hope transfers over to the game. We're giving up some points, but we're turning the football over. They had some short fields the other night. We turned it over a couple of times. We had an opportunity to take them out of the game with some turnovers down in the red zone, which we can't do. So to put it, to say that, am I happy? No, I want shutouts every week. How about that? We're not going to get that. That's not feasible. But I'll tell you what is that for us not to make the mistakes that we're making. But our guys are growing from it because we're seeing improvement week 1 to week 2 to week 3.
What is the story behind Louis coming here? Did you have some past association with
Yeah.
him, or did you seek him out, or what?
Yeah, we knew each other in the NFL. He was in Cleveland. I was in Jacksonville. And we had met a couple of times and talked to each other. And so in the coaching profession, sometimes you meet people, you don't even know where you meet them. You just meet them. And you call each other on the phone. You're getting ideas. You're getting advice, things like that. So our relationship goes back, 6, 7 years, 8 years. And when I had the opportunity here, I had to wait him out because there's a couple of things that he had going, and they didn't pan out, so I was able to get him here, so I was excited about that.
Was there something in particular you liked about him? Did you like the style of defense?
Yeah, his style and his aggressiveness, which is what I want. I don't want to sit back and bend but don't break. I want to go ahead and force the issue, make some things happen. And when that happens, sometimes, we always say when you do those things, the fight song is going to play. It could be your fight song or it could be the other team's fight song, but the fight song is going to play. Well, I want to hear the fight song. So I want to be able to put pressure on other people. Louis, he's very comfortable doing that, and his background kind of shows that Mike Zimmer in that little world that he kind of grew up in with that stuff. He was doing a lot of that. And then, you know, one of our graduate assistants coming in is Ray Horton's son, Jaron Horton, who, you know, his dad's been a defensive coordinator in the NFL for a long time. So Jaron brings a lot of experience with us also.
Looking at Lamar, what are you seeing out of that one game that's putting him at the top of the conference? What's working for him?
Yeah, well, offensively, you talking about?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, offensively, they got 23 is a dynamic player. He's a slot receiver. They figure out a way to get him the ball every which way they can, and I think their quarterback's really effective, throwing and running. You'll see him in the option game. They combine. They got a neat combination. Dan Dodd's their offensive coordinator, who's a really good friend of mine. Mike Schultz is the head coach. He's an offensive guy. Dan's more of a pro-style guy. Mike's more of an option guy. So they've combined those two, which if you're a defensive coach, that's a pain in the butt, right? Well, they're able to execute that, but I think it's because their quarterback's able to do both. He's very he's athletic enough to run the option, but he also throws the ball well enough to take some shots down the field, and that's where 23 comes in. Also, they got the 6'4" receiver on the other side. The X is a guy that can go up and go get the ball. Runs well, but has a great length. So that's why they're able to take more vertical shots down the field with those guys. But the option game, it's almost like when they see it, they're checking it. I think they've got some RPOs involved, but their option game is what really kind of makes them click because you got to commit extra guys to the box, which opens up the pass game.
So you talked about the defense, you know, being an older guy, older group, but less experience. So how are you guys kind of preparing for that?
Yeah, same thing. Our preparedness will be similar to what we've been doing. We're going to try to put them in situations. We put them in the toughest situations we can. Well, what's the hardest thing is man-to-man against an RPO. And we had some breakdowns this week on that on play-action stuff. So we're going to put them in those situations again, man-to-man, third-down situation, coming-out situation, things like that. Put them in the toughest situation that we can, make them perform. And what happens is a guy just keeps performing and performing and performing, sometimes, and he fails. But you got to keep coming back strong. We didn't lose any confidence in any of our guys. That didn't happen out there. We didn't say, take these guys out. They can't play. Put some other ones in. We feel like the evaluation process has put us in position to identify who we really want to play. But then at the same time, those guys got to go make some plays. But they just hadn't done it in their careers.
Coach, wins and losses aside, is this team growing and getting better every week the way you would want at this point?
Yeah, they are. The scoreboard is the thing that's disappointing. I mean, that and the penalties are probably the two things that with the self-inflicted wounds. But I think where we're really growing is, and it's going to sound, after I just said that, our discipline and some of the stuff that we are doing. Our alignment stuff, the things we're able to do at the line of scrimmage offensively with chasing, dictating some things to the receivers to get some guys open or changing some route combinations. Defensive, being able to adjust a little bit more to motions and shifts. And UCA gave us some issues, some formations the other night, issue-wise, defensively, that they hadn't shown all year, and our guys adjusted to it really fast. So, I think those things, our guys are able to grow to that because of game experience. You're able to reference something that happened in game 1 to game 2 to game 3, and we're able to reference it, and the guy remembers it. You're seeing growth from that standpoint. I also think we're practicing better. I think we had a good week of practice this past week. It didn't translate into a win, which is what we want. But you can't what I don't want to get overlooked is how well some guys played out here this past Saturday. We had some people that played their butts off, and they didn't do everything right, but they played hard. They were in position. Sometimes they didn't make the play. Sometimes they did. So we had some guys that played hard, and I don't want that to be overlooked, that we lost the game so everything must be bad. That's not the case. Our guys are playing hard, and some of them are playing really well.
Coach, on that note, I know you're not going to make this excuse, but I'll say it. The schedule has been really difficult out of the gates for you guys. How's the team going together with a tough start? Looking forward to this coming week.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be any difference. Our mindset's the same. We don't. If we were 3-0 instead of 0-3, I sure hope we don't change our mindset and our approach to the game. None of that makes a difference because it's all in the past. What I hope happens is that we prepare as the best that we can this week, and we stack. Tuesday's got to be a great day. Wednesday's got to be better. Thursday's got to be even better than that. Friday's going to tune it up, and Saturday we play well. So however the schedule laid out, that's the schedule. It doesn't matter. Well, if that's what we play every year, we're playing them every year, and we expect to win them every year. And we've had opportunities to win these games. We can look back and point some fingers at certain things and really identify some stuff that could have put us in a better position to be successful instead of being 0-3 right now. So we got to do what we do and take care of the things we can take care of, and the scoreboard will take care of itself at the end.
You guys got the taste of the home game here. Now you got to take them on the road. What's the challenge with this team taking them on the road
Yeah, I don't think there's any. You know, we went on the road to Monroe. We went on the road to Baton Rouge. We're going to go to Beaumont now. Well, it's a business trip for us. We're approaching it that way. The schedule's the same. It's a routine now. They're in a routine. Where the coaches are in a routine. We know what's going to happen. We know how it's going to happen. We know the expectations once you travel on the road. So it's about preparing during a week of practice and about playing well on Saturday night.
Everybody good?